Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm live in the studio, which means you lot, yes you, need to get involved in the chat and the comments. It's Fixtures Day. It's my favourite day of the year. Well, my second favourite after Pancake Day. So the fixtures are out. We're going to be getting into all that. I mean, look, we know who we're going to play. The only question is when we're going to play them. And United are actually kicking off the season with a nice, juicy Friday night fixture. Who'd have thunk it, Manchester United opening the season with a Friday night game against Fulham, which seems like we do that every few years. I might be wrong, but I seem to remember that happening a couple of times in the past, or am I exaggerating? So we'll get into all that. Also, we've got some transfer stories. Make sure you are hitting that like button, hit that share button, and that subscribe. Loads of people in the chat already. Patrick Mulford, Akash K, Adam, Brian Casey, Jacoy Trott, C. Renz, Santa Notch is here, Pancake J, very good Santa, Mick Hullahorn, Jed91, all saying hello, good morning, how we doing? Let's talk about some of these transfer rumours before we get into the story about the fixtures and go through all the fixtures. There was a story in, I think it was Caught Offside last night, and this has been doing the rounds. I've seen a lot of talk about this and chatter about this on social media, saying that United are prepared to offer 50 million quid in a swap deal for Marc Guéhi. Now, there's been a lot of different sort of suggestions here that there could be 40 million, 50 million, but I think the story here is coming from Team Talk that's saying, have reported United are targeting Guehi. He's explained that, Guehi, and are preparing to offer former Palace player Aaron Wan-Bissaka plus cash in an attempt to land the England international. Yeah, you can see. Now, I know that Aaron Wan-Bissaka, if everyone's fit, he probably doesn't start. And I know he does have the odd game where you're like, what are you doing? But I really rate Wan-Bissaka. I do. And I think the right-back position is one of the few positions in our team or in our squad that doesn't need messing with. I think we've got in Diogo Dalot, a very good first-choice right-back. And I think with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, you've got a very good backup that is different. He's a lot different from Diogo Dalot. So, for me, we've got issues all over the pitch. Yes, we need a centre-back, so I get the idea of trying to get Guehi in. But getting rid of a right-back and then leaving yourself short in the right-back position, I just think it's a little bit short-sighted. We saw last season that Wan-Bissaka played a lot of games. Dalot ended up playing a lot of games at left-back. At times, Wan-Bissaka played at left-back. Wasn't his best performances, even being brutally honest, though he did do a decent job. I think it was against Liverpool. I think he played at left-back and did a very good job on Mo Salah. Yes, Mo, in the cup, I know Mo Salah scored, but I don't think you can blame Wan-Bissaka for that. I thought he did well. So I just feel like, I don't know, let me know what you think, because I know that Wan-Bissaka isn't everyone's cup of tea, but I really like him, and I think defensively, he's outstanding. You saw it in the FA Cup final. You saw what he did against Jeremy Doku. Again, Doku scored, but it wasn't Wan-Bissaka's fault. That was on Joe Nana, just basically letting one in. So, is it worth getting rid of a player we need, a player we use, a very good option, one who's different from the other right back we've got as well, so you can mix it up a little bit, like we did in the Carabao Cup final, for example. Diogo Dalot gets a booking in that first half against Alan Saint-Maximin. He's getting not tore apart, I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's a bit of a ropey one. You take him off, you bring on Wan-Bissaka, and he just absolutely pockets the winger for the second half, and United win the cup. So I'm a bit against this one. Let me know what you think. I wouldn't mind seeing us buy Marc Guéhi. I don't know if this is going to happen, though, because you've got Elise. Michael Elise apparently is on our target list. Are Crystal Palace going to sell us Elise and Guehi? No, I don't think they are. Now, you might argue, okay, this is why you have to do the Wan-Bissaka swap deal to make it happen. Perhaps. It just feels a little bit counterproductive, I think is the word. Let us know what you think. Bill O'Reilly says, Jay talking a lot of sense here. Thank you. Saves Mount 90 says, Guehi Branthwaite, he prefers Guehi. Santa Notch says, nice deal, but not with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We then need another right back. Dan O'Reilly says, I wouldn't let Wan-Bissaka go. I agree. Tom Mills says, I'd rather Guehi than Branthwaite. I mean, Branthwaite has been a sort of, I won't say a long-term target. I think he's been a target for about 6 months. But he's one that we're getting heavily linked with. And there's a lot of debate going on at the minute whether Branthwaite is good enough, whether he's that guy. I think a lot of the debate stems from the fact that Everton are playing hardball with us. Everton aren't looking to let Branthwaite go for anything less than, I don't know, but it looks like they're holding out for around the £70 million mark. We had Laurie Whitwell talking on the channel yesterday. If you've not seen that one, go and check out that interview with him. It was really good. And he was talking about United doing the opening bid and United, obviously, Ineos not wanting to be seen to be mugs or whatever and paying over the odds for players. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, because with Branthwaite, he's a young Premier League defender. English is always a bit of an English tax, always a United tax as well. And all those things I've mentioned, you can say the same thing about Guehi. I think Guehi's a little bit older, but he's still relatively young. He's an England international, probably a bit more than Branthwaite is, because he's in the squad and he's in the team for the England versus Serbia game in the Euros, so that's probably increased his value a little bit as well. Plus, he's got a little bit more experience than Branthwaite because he's a little bit older. I've been impressed with Guehi's career trajectory. He was part of that England under-17 team that I think that won the World Cup. He went on loan. I think he was at Chelsea, went to Swansea, I believe. Played a lot of football there, played a lot of games, did really well there. I think the Swansea fans really liked him. Went to Crystal Palace and has smashed it there, and he's now, in the England team. He's starting the England team, and obviously Gareth Southgate felt confident enough in Marc Guéhi to A, not take Jarrad Branthwaite at all, and B, not even take Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, from what we gather, would have been fit for maybe the latter group games or even the knockout stages. Now, in the Euros last time round, when you had Tyrone Mings starting, Gareth Southgate still took Harry Maguire because he was like, look, obviously Harry Maguire's a better defender. Harry Maguire misses the first, I think, 2 games against, was it Croatia and Scotland or whatever it was, comes back into the team, and he's player of the match against Germany, and he's in the team in the tournament. So for Gareth Southgate to show that kind of faith in Marc Guéhi, saying, look, I'm not going to take Harry Maguire, who's been a regular for me. I'm not even going to take Jarrad Branthwaite, who's probably a similar sort of, I'm going to say a similar player, but a player, another defender. I'm going to show my faith in Marc Guéhi. I think it's a big statement. And I think Guehi, I know it was only 1 game, but against Serbia, I thought he was one of our best players. John White disagrees. He says, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a good defender, but he's no good in attack. Just look at his numbers. Can't have a player who's only capable of doing half his job. There's the 2 points I made with that. One, I don't think he is only capable of doing half his job. I think he can go forward. I don't think he's particularly great at sacking, but this idea that he's abysmal going forward, I don't think it's quite fair. And also, you do need right-backs that can defend. You do have wingers that are a handful, where you need a right-back you can go, look, you stick on him. Listen, he's tearing us apart. He's giving us no end of mither. Aaron, you get on him. Because that is what Wan-Bissaka does, and he does it almost as good as anyone in the league. So this idea that, you have to have a right-back who's amazing going forward, I don't know. I think Diallo is our first choice right-back. He plays a lot of football, but when you do need someone in to come in and either cover if you've got injuries, or if you've got someone who's causing you dramas on the left wing, then for me, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the man. Bill O'Reilly says, I think Ineos could do themselves a favour by being very tough on Branthwaite price. What does everyone think of Jarrad Branthwaite? Let me know in the comments, because I've seen a big debate going on social media about whether Branthwaite is the one, about whether we're paying too much for him, about whether he's worth paying 60, 70 million for him, about whether United should just pay 50 and walk away. Will United do that? Will Everton accept that? Everton have got PSR issues. They need to sell some players, I think. They obviously got, they ended up with a couple of points deducted last season. So they're probably looking to offload at least one player in this window. They'll want as much money as they can get for Branthwaite, but could they be forced somewhat in terms of having to let him go? Crystal Palace, very well-run club. They've got a lot of players that are sort of on people's radars. You've got Isse, you've got Guehi, you've got Elise, who we've been linked with. Even Adam Wharton's getting a bit of notice because he's gone away with the England squad. Only joined them from Blackburn, I think, in January, but has absolutely smashed it. He's put in some very good performances, including one against Manchester United. So I don't see Crystal Palace having a fire sale in the summer and selling 4 players, but they might have to sell 1 or 2, and they might be able to play hardball when they do. Let's talk about this Greenwood situation. I think this has come from, thank you, producer Ethan, Football 365 via The Sun, hashtag Don't Buy The Sun. Juve cool at Greenwood interest and plot move to sign another Manchester United outcast. So the gist of this story is that Juve have sort of turned their attentions away from Mason Greenwood and are now looking, there you can see it, are now looking at Jadon Sancho. It's a bit of a strange one, this, because obviously for different reasons, as you can see there, allegations of assaulting his girlfriend came to light in 2022. We know why Mason Greenwood isn't in the Manchester United team. We know why Manchester United, so it would seem, are looking to offload him. It's nothing to do with his footballing ability. It's to do with stuff that's gone off the pitch. United were going to bring him back into the fold. We saw that we heard all the reports, and I wouldn't say rumours because that makes it sound like they're not true, but the stories and reports that United under Richard Arnold, when he was still in charge, were ready to bring Mason Greenwood back. There was a massive backlash. A lot of United fans, apparently some of the staff at the club weren't happy. There was a sort of a media frenzy. MPs were getting involved. Politicians were speaking about it. Richard Arnold, Manchester United and Mason Greenwood all released a statement sort of talking about his future. And I said at the time, I said it was weird those statements came out. They were awful, by the way, those statements. One of them wasn't even factually accurate in terms of the legal sort of situation. But I didn't feel like they closed the door fully on Mason Greenwood potentially returning to Manchester United, if that makes any sense. Because it was I think they said like the next phase of his career or whatever. It wasn't like saying he's done. He's gone on loan to Getafe. Now, he's done well at Getafe. I think he's had some very good games. I think against Atletico Madrid in particular, he did really well. And I think Antoine Griezmann was singing his praises. I think he's had, is it something like 10 goals in 30 games or whatever. He's had a decent return. I don't think he's put up the kind of numbers where you go, oh, that's it. Everyone's coming in for him, or where clubs are going, we've got to get Mason Greenwood. He's done well, but probably not well enough to convince some teams he's worth getting. He's worth the flack you might get from signing Mason Greenwood. He's worth it. But he's done, if this makes any sense, he's done well enough at Getafe to show he's still a very good footballer. So that's where you lie now, I think, with Mason Greenwood, in the sense that you've got teams that are interested in him. And I think a lot of teams will have watched him, will have gone, okay, he's still a very good footballer. He's, 21, 22 years old. He's a lot to offer. I personally think Mason Greenwood will have a season where he scores, or several seasons where he scores loads of goals. He's probably the most talented attacker. I'd say probably the most naturally gifted attacker I've seen come through the club. He's up there. He is. And I know that's a bit of a bold statement. I'm old enough to remember the class of 92 coming through. I remember Ravel Morrison, who was just ridiculously good. But Greenwood is he's at the very top. He's at equal levels to some of those players. And that might sound a little bit OTT. But genuinely, look at his numbers in that academy team. It was ridiculous. He's breaking all sorts of records. He got into the United team very early. I think he was 17 when he made his debut. Was scoring straight away. Then he had a little bit of a period where he wasn't quite doing as well as he had been doing. I don't know if off the field issues, what was going on there, it was anything to do with it. I don't know. I'm not going to start speculating on that one. However, he's gone. We know why he got sort of suspended by the club. He's gone to Getafe, trying to get his career going. We'll have to wait and see what happens. It looks like Juve now, though, are saying, no, we don't fancy Mason Greenwood. We're interested in Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, for completely different reasons, looks like his United future lies his future, I should say, lies elsewhere. Fell out with Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag's now staying. So any slight chance you might have thought if you're Jadon Sancho, well, if they get rid of the manager, I can get back to the club working for a manager who rates me. So I can't see Erik ten Hag forgiving him on saying come back to the fold. Again, he's a low move. Sorry, there was the Greenwood stat. Sorry, I got it wrong. 8 goals and 6 assists in 33 games. It's good, innit? It's not amazing, but it's good. Probably enough to make someone go, yeah, he's worth taking a punt on. Probably not enough to make loads of clubs go, he's our guy. Jadon Sancho went to Dortmund, and I think it's a similar thing as Mason Greenwood in terms of what he's done at the club he's gone to. He's done well at Dortmund. He helped them get to a Champions League final, but he's not smashed it. Despite the fact he got player of the match in the game against PSG, the first leg of the semi-final, and despite the fact he helped get them to a Champions League final, which is obviously a massive achievement, I think with Sancho, he's had some mediocre games. He's had some poor games for Dortmund as well. I think he's only completed 90 minutes 4 times in the entire time he was back at Dortmund. I don't think he's quite hit the heights. Well, he hasn't hit the heights that he hit when he was there the first time. Remember that first season, or that last season, sorry, he had at Dortmund 36 goal involvements in 39 games. Lionel Messi numbers. This time round, a lot less. So, again, I think with Sancho, there'll be clubs looking at him going, he's a good young attacker, he's exciting, he's just got into a Champions League final, he's got a lot to offer, but there'll be other clubs going, well, yeah, but questions about his temperament, questions about him, is he almost in decline a little bit? I think his best seasons were 3 years ago when he was part of that team that had the likes of Erling Haaland and Jude Bellingham. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Tactical statistician says generational talent, his play style suits the Premier League. Also, going back to the Aaron Wan-Bissaka point, Patrick Selman says, well and good saying don't mess with the right back, but he's got a year left, so unless you're happy for Aaron Wan-Bissaka to leave on a free, then we have to do something about this window. I'd like to see him given a new deal then. I don't want to see him leave. JW says, Wan-Bissaka out now, utter woke nonsense. Liam Clark says, forgiveness for Greenwood is the fact he still has a career. He lost the privilege to be a Manchester United player. That's an interesting point, that. I mean, everyone has a different opinion on Mason Greenwood, and you may think, look, he can have a career. Obviously, no one's saying he can't, he has to stop playing football. He can still go and play football. I ain't got an issue with that. I just don't want to see him doing it at Manchester United. I understand that. Chris Quigley says, us bringing Mason back would make me support every defender going against him to all headland him. TG Chubb was saying, was Jadon good because of Haaland? I think I'd look good passing to Erling. I don't want to be too harsh with Jadon Sancho and just start, sticking the knife and say, he was only good because he played with Haaland. Because let's not forget, Jadon Sancho as well, at Dortmund, scored a lot of goals. I think he didn't get 2 in the cup final as well. And when he was out, it looked like, because he missed a few games through injury, it looked like in that final season at Dortmund, they weren't going to make the top 4, I think, in Germany. They weren't going to make the Champions League anyway. He came in, gets loads of goals, gets loads of assists, they get the Champions League spot, and they win a trophy. And Dortmund don't win a lot of trophies. People think of Dortmund and think, they're one of the big clubs in Germany, which they are. They challenge for trophies, they win trophies all the time. They don't. They tend to win now. If you look over the last sort of 10 years, since Klopp left, they haven't got a lot of trophies in their cabinet during that period, but they did win one in Jadon Sancho's last season, and they got to the Champions League final, didn't they? I think everyone knew that Madrid were going to win that final, but they got there, and you can't grumble at that, because United haven't been to a Champions League final since 2011. Akash K says, Sancho smashed it in the Bundesliga, the Premier League is different gravy. Should we talk about the fixtures? Here's some highlights for you. There you go. This was our tweet this morning, and it says the fixtures will count for United versus Fulham on the Friday. So we're going to kick off the season Friday night game against Fulham, mid-August, obviously. Then you've got these aren't all in like successive order of the games. These are the big games, sort of the games that I spotted this morning, that the ones I was looking for. We've played the Scousers at the end of August. I think we've got Southampton and Brighton before then, I think, or around that time. We've got Arsenal away at the beginning of December. Then you've got the first Manchester derby in the middle of December. Then you've got Liverpool away early doors in the new year. Then you've got Arsenal at home in March, and then you've got the second Manchester derby in April, and that's a home one. So some tough fixtures there, but they're spread out. The reason, look at those and look at the big ones is to see how close together they are. Because sometimes, you're chatting to Joe a minute ago off camera, and he was saying, like, you usually get that month, don't you, where you look at that month and you go, oh my God, that is absolutely horrendous. And it doesn't feel like that. It feels a little bit like the sort of tougher fixtures are spaced out. Let me know what you think about that. Are you someone who goes, these fixtures, or do you think you're going to play everyone eventually anyway, so does it matter as much? Looking at, I'm going to run through these quickly, so bear with me. So obviously you can see there we've got Fulham at home, then you've got Brighton away, you've got Liverpool at home, you've got Southampton and Crystal Palace away back to back, you've got Spurs at home on the end of September, Villa away. Then you've got Brentford at home, West Ham away, Chelsea at home, Leicester at home, Ipswich away in November, Everton at home, Arsenal away. Arsenal's away is a tricky one, isn't it? That's on the 3rd of December. Then you've got Forest at home before you've got City away, which is decent, isn't it? Because that's probably one of your sort of trickier spells there, because you've got Arsenal and City away in a sort of 3-game spell. So it's Arsenal away on the 3rd of December. Then you've got Forest at home, and then you've got City away. Then you've got Bournemouth at home. Again, that's a good one, because we'll say it's a good one. They battered us last time, didn't they? Then Wolves away, Newcastle at home. Sorry, I've lost my Freddie. I'm doing a right good job of this, aren't I? I've already got confused. Newcastle at home. Then you've got Liverpool away, as I said, on the beginning of January. Then it's Southampton at home, Brighton at home, Fulham away, Palace at home. In theory, these are games that are winnable, but you don't know United, do you? Because when I had a look at the fixtures last season, and I'd have gone, well, Liverpool away, we're going to get battered there. Bournemouth at home, we'll win that one. Fulham at home, we'll win that one. Palace at home, we'll win that one. You see where I'm going with this, don't you? Yeah, so you don't really know. But I'm hoping we're going to improve from last season. So some of these fixtures should be easy. Then going into the sort of the end of January, you've got Brighton at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, Spurs away. So it's a tricky one. Everton away, Ipswich at home, Arsenal at home in March. Then you've got Leicester away, Forest away, City at home, the Manchester derby, as I said earlier, on the 5th of the 4th. Newcastle away has become a real fucking tricky one, that, hasn't it? Newcastle away. Bloody hell. That's on the 12th of April. You've got Wolves at home, and then you've got Bournemouth away, Brentford away, then the last 3 games, you've got West Ham, although it's at West Ham, at home on the 10th of May. Chelsea away, 18th of May, which is where I think they're going to give us a guard of honour, like they did many years ago. Do you remember? Because we'll have wrapped up the league by then. And then you've got Villa at home. I mean, there's not 1 month where I go, it's horrendous. There's a few sort of spells there where you go, that's a bit of a tricky one. Arsenal and City away, obviously, quite close together. But, you know, you play every team twice, don't you? I mean, the big question for us next season is, are we going to turn up in some of these relatively easy games? Because our record at Old Trafford was shocking. And also, are we going to be in cup competitions? Eric Ten Hag does like to play strong teams in the cups. So if you're getting into sort of March and April and you're, or, you know, say February, March, April, if you're in a Carabao Cup final, or if you're in a Europa League quarter final, or if you're in an FA Cup quarter final, he seems to be that manager where he'll go, look, I'm going to go hell for leather, I'm going to play, you know, the big boys, which can be, you know, can go either way. I mean, it's kind of worked out for him, hasn't it, doing that? Because first season he balanced it well. We got 3rd place in the Premier League, we won the Carabao Cup, and we got to the FA Cup final. So that was a relatively successful season. It was a successful season, I don't need to say relatively. Last season, we didn't have a good season, but we won the FA Cup. So it kind of worked, because I think he might have done it another way around, or he might have ended up not winning the FA Cup and still not getting into the Champions League, and he got sacked. He's just got to do it better this season. We can't be finishing 8th, and I don't think he'll get the opportunity to get us anywhere near 8th. I think if by Christmas we're 8th, I think he'll be done, especially as we know from the various reports we've heard, and his own words as well, when he was talking for Dutch TV in the World Cup, in the Euros commentary he was doing. We spoke to Thomas Tuchel, we spoke to all these other managers. Regardless of how Ineos want to say it, we were looking at other managers for a reason, and it was obviously that we didn't quite fancy, or Ineos didn't quite fancy, Eric Ten Hag. Let us know what you think about those fixtures. You know, when I want to know this, right? When the fixtures come out, tell me this. What's the first game you look for? Yeah? What's the one fixture? Fixtures are out. The first one I'm going to look for. For me, it's Liverpool. I always look for the Liverpool game. Is everyone the same? Or are some of you like, when we've got Arsenal, when we've got City? Let me know, what's the one game where you go, that's the game for us. Producer Ethan, you're a Newcastle fan. What's your game? Because you haven't got Sunderland in your league, in our league. What's the one game Newcastle fans look for? Probably United, you see. Really? Why is that?
Good day out.
Good day. Good day out, he says. He says Newcastle look for United, good day out. I know we're not the same with him, but I know a lot of Newcastle fans have this thing now where we're like rivals. I don't know where that's really come from. It's sort of stopped in the mid-90s, to be honest with you. Loads of people, Phil Berry, Tyler Wood, Buffy whatever, Joan Bollard, Jacoya Trott saying Liverpool, 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 Liverpool. Adam says hated, adored, never ignored. Malcolm Campbell says Liverpool. Everyone saying Liverpool. New Journey says, looking for the first game, final game, Liverpool doesn't matter anymore. Ansum Galati says Ipswich, they're level. Right, okay, fair enough. There's one other story I saw this morning. I think this is from Samuel Luckhurst in the Evening News. It's talking about Amad Diallo. Says he sees a new role for Amad Diallo after an impressive form. I think this is like a bit of it's one of those sometimes where it's a news story, but I think there's a lot of opinion in it as well. Says Amad played 12 times for United last season and often made an impression either as a sub or a starter. And he says Man United now regard Amad as one of their more integral squad members for the future. Omari Forson, he's mentioned there, has left to... Diallo's a popular player, I think, with Manchester United fans, not just because of that goal against the Scousers, but I just think he is anyway. I think a lot of United fans wanted to see him get more minutes last season. I think you look at the form of our front three. I mean, Rasmus Højlund's not really someone that people are looking to drop, but you look at Garnacho had a good season, but could be a little bit erratic. Marcus Rashford obviously had a disappointing season. Pellistri obviously went out on loan, didn't really do much when he was at United. I think his United career is winding down now. If it's not really over, I don't think he's got much time left at Old Trafford. So you're looking at someone like Amad Diallo as being a decent option for you. And obviously, that goal against Liverpool in the quarter-final is one of the greatest moments ever. We're going to be back later on today. Joe Smith has been chatting to Sky Sports' Damesh Seth. So we're going to be getting a lowdown from him on what United are going to do in the transfer window. Last transfer window was absolutely bobbins, wasn't it? In the January transfer window, we just didn't do anything. And it was horrible, and I hated it because I love transfers more than I love football matches. But this summer, I think we could be on for a bit of a big one. I think we could be bringing in quite a few names. Will it be Marc Guéhi or Jared Branthwaite? We'll have to wait and see. RBJ Moy, this has been the Paper Talk. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.